Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Marianna and I read a lot. And that's a big statement, especially considering the title of this video, because I'm gonna talk you through and review my March reads. Problem is, I was in a kind of a reading slump this month, so I didn't read as much as I would have liked, to say the least. I mean, I did manage 5 books, which is not bad, okay? But my goal in Goodreads, it's like 100 books this year. And I don't see this happening with this rate. So I'm gonna try to pick up speed in the next month. But for now, 5 books in March. A quick disclaimer, reading slumps are everywhere. I mean, anyone can actually have a reading slump, and I keep seeing it, especially in Bookstagram. People are more open and they're like, I haven't read at all this month, and that's okay. That's okay. Wouldn't it need to feel pressure about reading? Reading is such a beautiful thing and you should just use it to escape. Sometimes you need a break. Maybe you need to watch a TV series or watch a movie or go on a hiking trip. I don't know, whatever you want, but for me personally, I just wanted to binge watch series and I didn't feel the need to read. And that's a shame because I had so many amazing books in my TBR, but they'll just have to wait for April. So for the first book on the list, I did receive an ERC for Merit by Devney. I was so excited when I received the message that, I'm gonna get the ebook. And I just got it, I think, a week before release date, which isn't bad at all, but I just had to, scramble to finish everything else I was reading. And Merit was a surprise, I have to say. I was expecting it to be like 5 stars. That didn't happen. I settled for a 4 out of 5 stars for my rating. So it's her 4th and last book in the Treasure State Wildcats series. The other 3 books were more on the sports romance side, and this just wasn't it. We have a trope, an umbrella trope, where they are first friends and they're enemies and then they're lovers. So it was kind of a shift. Yes, Maverick, the male character, does play football, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, football, but it's just, mentioned, and we might see a game or 2, but that's that. It wasn't like a sports romance in the traditional way, and that's the only reason why I didn't give it the 5 full stars and I went with 4 stars. I did enjoy the fact that we had not a traditional plot for a romance book. If it's like his mother is terminally ill, which is a really sad fact going on in the book, but it's the reason why they enter a fake relationship, which absolutely love. I was talking about that in my previous video as well. I don't know what it is about fake dating. I just love it so much. It didn't used to be my favorite trope, but now it is. And every time I see it in a book, instantly we go from 3 stars up. There's no way there's a book with a fake dating trope that I will, award it like under 3 stars. So even though they hate each other's guts, they entered this fake dating scenario, and I just loved it. The whole, secondary characters were just amazing. We have their families and they're close with each other because they used to be childhood friends. So Stevie and Maverick are just, I don't know, kind of perfect for each other. The only thing I didn't like, apart from it being a sports romance and not being a sports romance, was the fact that Stevie hasn't been with another man, which kind of bothered me. I don't know why exactly. This is, it isn't something you will see in the modern world around you. So I was like, okay, this is like not gonna happen in real life, so why would it happen here? I kind of get it, I kind of don't get it. And again, it's the reason why I deducted the full star. Oh, and also there was a 3rd act breakup, which I wanna say I don't like it, but I like it when we have the breakup and then we have time to resolve the situation, meaning at least 100 or 150 pages. This didn't happen here. We had the 3rd act breakup and then it just kind of resolved really quickly in like under 50 pages. it wasn't believable to me, unfortunately. But I do highly recommend the entire series, and especially Married. It just was different from the other 3 books. Okay, moving on to the next read of the month. It was one of my highly anticipated reads, and it's the 3rd in a series. So first we have Wild Love and Wild Eyes. I have reviewed both, and I will leave links, above for you to see my reviews. But this month we got Wild Side by Elsie Silver. We have Tabitha and Reese. Tabitha has a sister who unfortunately loses her life because of drug use. That's the sad part of the story. And she has a son, Milo. So now Milo is, for all intents and purposes, an orphan. And Tabitha wants to, take Milo to live with her. At the same time, her sister had a neighbor and slash landlord, and he grew attached to Milo, and for some reason that will be explained in the book, her sister actually made Reese Milo's guardian. So now Reese wants Milo and Tabitha wants Milo, and the only solution they can find so that the kid doesn't lose his aunt or Reese is to get married. So we have a delicious marriage of convenience here, another trope I really love, and it was done in a really good way here. I would have expected some more build up in the relationship, but for the most part these guys had chemistry. My issue here was that I would have liked more scenes with Milo. There were a few, of course, but in the aspect of the found family trope, I would have liked some more scenes with all 3 of them as a family, but also individually, Milo with Tabitha and with Reese. Something was missing for me there. That being said, I just love the whole family dynamics because we also got to see the characters from the previous book. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I love how interconnected romance series just have a way, the authors bring all the characters together. This is something I look forward to each time. Also, instead of focusing on that trope or on the marriage of convenience, I mean, they did focus on that because that was a spicy book, let me tell you. We also had the fact that Reese was a professional wrestler, so Wildside is his, professional nickname. That was a bit odd. I didn't see that coming. I don't remember if I had read the blurb before, so I really don't remember because it was a long time ago. But going into the book blind, because I just wanted to read the 3rd book in the series, I did not expect him to be a wrestler, and I was like, that's something you don't see in romance books nowadays. And I have to say, I did like it. I would have liked more of it. Like, what is like? We only saw that he had some problems, in his profession, and that he was supposed to act a certain way. But of course, he didn't want to because he was supposed to have, a wife in the wrestling world. But he just wanted Tabitha to be his on and off stage wife, for the world to know. So, okay, that was a cute part of the story, but again, I would have liked some more insight on what's going on in the wrestling world. I mean, why not? And the best part of the book, oh my god, I did not expect that. I was completely blindsided, was the fact that Elsie Silver actually prepared us for book 4th in the series, which is Wild Card, and I have no words. I'm just gonna say what we saw because it was like a little snippet of it. We have the main character and he has a crush he falls for, I don't know, question mark there because we don't have a lot of information, with his son's ex-girlfriend. What? I'm so excited for that book. I don't know when it will come out, but when it does, I'm definitely going to read it. Oh, and apparently it's an age gap trope, which I absolutely despise, let me tell you, but I was so hooked in the way that she actually wrote about it, and we're talking about only like a bonus chapter in the end and a few little scenes in between in the chapters of the book, and I was like, sold. So yeah. Oh, and of course, Where is My Mind? Wildcats for me was like a 4.5 out of 5. I highly recommend it. I would say that you need to start with Wild Love and Wild Eyes before moving on to Wildcat, because you're gonna get spoiled, you know, with the interconnected series. You get spoilers in the third book about what pretty much happened in the first and the second one. So yeah, definitely start from there. But again, it was a really good book and with a lot of spice, which I truly appreciated. So my third book of the month was Story of My Life by Lucy Score. I was really lucky to receive an advanced reader copy, and I have no words. I just know that every Lucy Score book, I mean, as soon as she announces it, it's gonna be a 5-star read for me. I mean, she knows how to write small town romances in a way that nobody else can. It's like she has lived in a small town. She has, you know, been in the body, in the shoes of the person she's writing about, and she writes from experience, and that actually shows. So enough of my Lucy Score fangirling. This was a 5-star read for me, and it's in a small town in Pennsylvania, and we have a writer who just cannot write anymore. So Hazel has gone through a bad breakup and she needs to leave New York City. She's actually getting evicted, if I'm not mistaken, and she decides to impulsively, you know, buy a house in a small town in Pennsylvania, and things just go from there, because as soon as she arrives in the small town, there's an incident with her best friend / agent, a feast, and a bald eagle. That's all I'm gonna say, because I was laughing out loud at every page in this book. How is that even possible? How can you convey banter in such an amazing way in a book? It's beyond me. It's why I gave it, 5 stars. When you're laughing out loud, but there's also romance, and there's also, you know, the relationship between the characters, and I don't just mean, you know, the main characters, also the secondary characters of the story are so meaningful and they're there for a reason. You just know she put effort in this book and it shows, and I just loved it. And apart from Hazel, we also have Bishop Cameron, I believe, and he's grumpy through and through, of course. I mean, why wouldn't you be? And I think he's just exactly what Hazel needed. At first they begin as friends to benefits, you know, and then things evolve from there. I absolutely love the relationship, and I mean also the way they started out as friends with benefits and how things just got more serious as the plot progressed. I just loved every minute of it. I keep saying love, but I think it was the best read I have for March. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's really no surprise that every time I read a Lucy Score book, I just want to move to a small town, because I expect things to be exactly as I'm reading it in her books. But of course, that's not real life, unfortunately. She's ruining us. I mean, she's ruining me personally. I have false expectations. What are you doing to us, Lucy Score? Also, let me tell you, this one was a chunky one. I mean, was like 500 pages plus, and for me it showed at some point. I mean, I could feel like it dragging, but I'm used to it because I think things we left behind. Like, let me just... Yeah, this one is like a huge romance book, considering, so I'm gonna have to say that like 500 pages as well. Yeah, 581 to be precise. So it's a chunky one. Story of My Life as well, and I've been used to Lucy Score writing that much, and it's the reason why I've been spoiled, because every time I see a romance book that's like 350 pages or 400, I'm like, but does the story get to, you know, evolve and get to the point where I'm like, I cannot think of any other romance story apart from this? No. Usually not. This is why I'm saving my 5 stars for Lucy Score. I just know she gets the job done. She uses all the pages that she can and she gets the job done. So my 4th book of the month, and I cannot believe I'm actually saying this because I wasn't supposed to have this until July like the rest of the world, is The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. I was lucky enough to be granted, you know, access by the NetGalley gods apparently, and I got an advanced reader copy. and I was definitely screaming and squealing, and I couldn't believe it. Let me explain why. This wasn't supposed, to be a book per se. It originated as a fan fiction, and not only just, a random fan fiction, one of my absolute favorites. It originates from the Harry Potter world, and okay, I would be skeptical as well, so give me a chance to explain. We have the canon couples in the Harry Potter universe, like Ron and Hermione and Ginny and Harry, but this one was about a non-canon couple and one of my absolute favorites not-canon couples, and I'm talking about Hermione, meaning Draco Malfoy, and Hermione Granger. So yeah, this was one of the best fanfictions I've read, and it's also one of the best books I've read. So keep an eye out in July for this amazing romantasy. If I'm not mistaken, the original title of the fanfiction is Draco Malfoy and the mortifying ordeal of falling in love. Just keep that in mind. I'm not sure if you can still find it online, but in case you can, please read it. I absolutely love it, and it's not only the fact that in my mind, the characters were Hermione and Draco. It's not only that, it's the whole, magical system she created. I just love it. Yes, it might originate from, Harry Potter, but it's something different altogether. I didn't find a lot of similarities. Some, but you can't escape those in any magical system, I believe, but she did a really great job, and I highly recommend it. You really do not want to miss on the banter in this one. It was epic. I don't know how she does it, and it was a true enemies to lovers for sure. So really, I'm obsessed. It shows. This was a 4.5 out of 5 stars for me, and this is the first in the series. I believe more are to come. So yeah, definitely add it to your TBR, and I hope you find an advance reader copy as I did. So if you don't, just wait till July. It's worth the wait. I laughed out in this book so hard. We have Orion, and she is a healer, and we have Orsic, and he just needs a healer. So you can see how things are getting complicated right from the bat. So she refuses to help him at first. He kind of blackmails her, and then he just offers her a lot of money that he doesn't have in order for her to help him. So I really love their banter and the way that they go from we hate each other's guts to this flirty banter, and then to this slow burn journey that has the best ending. This was really spicy. Their exchanges, they're both so witty and sharp-tongued that you're hooked on the page. I couldn't do anything else. I just wanted to see how he will call her something, and then she will be all like, you did not just say that to me. And this is a proper enemies to lovers, so be aware of that. I really love that we have true enemies here, and their gradual courting. I guess I'm gonna say courting. They just started to see things in each other that they couldn't just ignore, and they loved so much, so their courting begins. And also I love that Knightley didn't just give us a romance, he just wrapped it in this fantasy world. So it's one of the best romances I've read in a while, and it has been a while for sure. Also, we have a lot of mystery. I kept guessing what is going on, how is it going to heal him, where is this entire magical system leading. I was trying to actually understand the world as best as I could. I had the original in my mind, and I pretty much know the magical system in Harry Potter like the back of my hand by now. So you understand, I was a bit I was trying to find my footing and to be immersed into the world. It didn't actually work. That's why I deducted half a star, because of the magical system and this new world she built. But I guess reading it the second time wouldn't hurt, to get accustomed to the world. I'm only gonna read it for the world building, not like the romance aspect of it, because oh my god, it was so spicy. I'm so happy she decided to publish this book, or for whomever actually read the fanfiction and was like, this would be a great book. Thank you. Oh, and that ending, it was brutal in the best way possible, and I'm actually looking forward to the second book. I can't wait. And finally, I guess this is the month of advanced reader copies. I don't know how that happened. I mean, most books actually released in the same month, so okay, but again, all of them I got either sent, in ebook form or in physical form, and my fifth book is the one that I received in physical form, and I just love it. I mean, the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. I've been waiting for this book, and it's so cute with the little strawberries. Look at this amazing cover. I just love it, and of course I read it. I could not wait as soon as I saw the package, and it has also a strawberry mug in it, and I was obsessed. So absolutely, of course, I read it. This is, I think, her fourth book. Let me just think. I think it's the fourth book in the Dream Harbor series. The first one you might have heard of, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I also have a review for that one. I'm just gonna leave it somewhere up here for you to check out. You do not need to, have read the entire series. You can absolutely read this as a standalone. So if you're into the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, based on the blurb, just go for it. So to, get you all, hyped about the book, we have the one-bed trope, Sevskis, we have single dad and forced proximity, which I absolutely love. It is like a Hallmark movie turned into a book. Let me just say that, right from the bat, so you are prepared. But if you're into those movies, then you're definitely gonna love this one. So we have Arthur, and he's a single dad, and he has a daughter, Olive, sweet little Olive, and he abandons a career in Paris in order to have full custody of his daughter. And that's pretty much it until Iris enters the chat, I guess. And where Arthur is actually a responsible single dad who owns the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, just, for some context. We also have Iris, who is, he is always, switching jobs. And so she's his perfect foil. They're so opposite. But in the whole concept of, switching jobs, he actually is now the babysitter for Olive. So we have a single dad nanny book here. Perfection. This is definitely a 10 out of 10 feel-good romance. I mean, we have this grumpy character, Archer, and Iris is just pure sunshine. And together in this small town setting, I don't know, it was the perfect recipe for a small town book. So definitely check it out if you love, the small town cozy vibes. I highly recommend it. I do have to say, this was not on the spicy side for me, like 2 spicy peppers, something like that, but you don't read it for the spice, you read it for the feel-good vibes. Okay, so this was my March wrap-up. I have to say this was more of a, quality over quantity month, and I have to say I liked it, even though I did have a reading slump, which I'm still trying to kick, let's be honest. It isn't completely, gone yet, but I do have to say that it was a pretty good month. I mean, I did have a 5-star rate, which isn't bad at all, and all of the books were just Sevskis for me. So yes, my favorite has to be the 5-star rate, which is Story of My Life. I mean, Cam and Hazel just hit a sweet spot for me, and I guess Lucy's Score hit a sweet spot for me. It was a really good book. Yes, it was longer than, what you would expect in a romance book, but I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised by all the events and all the banter. I'm telling you again, I was laughing out loud in so many occasions that I couldn't actually believe that I was laughing that much with a book. I'm usually laughing at a sitcom, show, but not that much with a book. And especially thinking that I like the fact, I mean, I talked about it previously, that we have a friends to benefits turned into full-on relationship in this one. And this is the thing that just kept me reading and was driving the plot for me, definitely. But again, overall, this wrap-up was a really good one. I mean, given the fact that all the books are worth picking up. I mean, Merit, so good, and even though it's interconnected, you do not have to pick up the previous book. Same goes with the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, which is just cozy, Hallmark vibes and all. And the Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. I'm sorry if I hyped you up and this book comes out in July, but I just had to talk about it because I absolutely loved it. I mean, being part of the, whole Hermione fanfiction family, I just couldn't resist. I had to mention it to you. And of course, it's one of my, March books. Why should I deduct one? I barely made it to 5. I couldn't just, leave one out. Not to mention my highly anticipated release for this month, which was Wild Side. I did not expect to be that pleasantly surprised by it, but I did expect it to be a full 5 stars. So, I don't know, this is kind of contradicting me saying that, but I was expecting something, more, as I said. But again, a really good book, and I'm stressing this out. Please read Wild Love and Wild Life before reading Wild Side. So that was the video for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these, or if some of them or all of them are in your TBR list, so we can chat. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I have new videos coming every Wednesday now, so stay tuned. And in the meantime, keep reading and stay passionate. Bye!